All right, now we want to welcome to the Jimmy Star Show with Ron Russell, the incredibly talented, well-known William Billy McNamara. Hello and welcome to the show.
Thank you.
I like those big intros. Let me introduce you to everybody before we get started. Starting out with my cool, outrageous man about town co-host, Mr. Ron Russell.
Hi, how are you?
Look, this is not my pubic area. This is our little dog. Oh. But he's on my lap, and it may look like a pubic area. See, that's our little baby, 5 pounds. Listen, I will never watch your show because it's full of cursing and vulgarity. And who the fuck do you think you are that you can get away with that fucking shit?
We're going to talk about that in a minute after we introduce you to everybody.
We just saw you 2 nights ago in a movie called Flower on Wildflower on television.
Oh, what channel was that on?
I don't know, FX or some shit.
It was
like
on
that.
FX, I think.
A Palm Springs channel. You were with Witherspoon,
with Patricia
Arnett, and Witherspoon.
And Bo Bridges. It was a great movie.
And you know what? You know how to act. Not only were you gorgeous, or still are handsome, but you can act. Most handsome people don't act well. They depend on their look. You know?
Hold on, let's introduce him to everybody.
I gotta get.
We gotta introduce him to everybody.
Oh, fuck you! Leave me alone. Listen, are you married?
No.
Oh, I have 2 daughters. Maybe we'll talk after
this. Let's introduce him to everybody. First, we've got 2 engineers. So our video engineers in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Say hi to Scotty J.
Hi, Scotty J.
Hey, what's going on there, William?
Not too much. How you doing?
I can't complain.
In Florida,
in Philadelphia.
That's right. And then in Florida, we've got Danielle at the W4CY studios.
She puts out everyone. No, she's just a slut. No, I'm serious. She's so good. We like her because if we have clients that are nervous, she bangs them to relax. Right,
She's
Danielle?
like a fluffer.
Tell him, Danielle, tell him.
He doesn't know what he's getting into because he doesn't know our show.
Oh, what did he think our show was? Johnny Carson? Excuse me.
So then we
the fluffer.
Now, Danielle, if you could, would you? If you could, would you with him?
Oh, absolutely.
He's cute, right?
And I'm 28, so.
And I heard he's got about 11 inches too, honey. And I know that's what you like.
Oh,
so we've also got a chat room with all kinds of countries represented. Please say hi to everybody in the chat room.
Hi to everybody in the chat room.
There you go. Now, since we just played your trailer, let's talk about it real quick. The name of it's called The Trouble with Billy. I wrote down It's a hybrid scripted TV series about fictional Hollywood actor or child actor, and you play the lead role, Billy Mack.
Right.
And actually, in the trailer, there's all kinds of people that have been on our show.
Wow.
Randall Pattenkopf was in the trailer. We know Alison Eastwood. We met Tom Sizemore recently. Paul Van Victor's a friend of mine from Facebook. Gianni Capaldi, Ron just did a movie with him like 2 months ago.
Oh, I love Johnny.
Oh, what movie?
Circus Road. I played the minister, and he played the guy that was getting married to Sadie Katz.
He's made three or 4 films with Gianni, right?
You know what?
A ton of films with
you know
Gianni.
what? When I first went on this set with him, I think he was intimidated by my stunning good looks and my age. You know what I mean? He figured he's a vintage actor, 58 years in the business. My first movie, Sophia Loren Tabonta. Hey, kid, those are credentials. So he was kind of intimidated, and I didn't like him. I thought he was a little snot. And at the end of the shoot, I fell in love with him because he was the most generous actor I have ever worked with. At my age, I really drop lines a lot. Johnny was so good and so nice to me and so helpful. He really was a true professional actor, and I love him to pieces.
Oh, good.
Love him.
And you've done like 3 or 4. I saw on your IMDb a ton of movies. He's in a ton of movies with you.
Yeah, and I just said something to a director of mine. I said, hey, I think we should get him in one of your movies. So you may be getting a phone call soon. And you're going to be working. When I work, I'm normal. I don't curse or carry on, unless, of course, the character wants it.
No, so tell us a little bit about the series, and like, is it out yet, or you've just shot the trailer, or tell us what's going on with it.
Well, it's both a series and a feature film. So I've got a 95, maybe 97-minute feature film, and I've got about 6 episodes, which I haven't edited the television episodes yet. And I'm just in the final edit right now. I still have sound mix to do and, of course, the music. So it's getting closer and closer. It's been a labor of love, more labor than love, and very financially creating a financial hardship, just because I want to make it as best as I possibly can. So
now, when you're ready to go, where do we see it?
Well, then I need to go out and sell it. I don't know yet.
Oh, so you're not out there yet?
Correct.
Well, I'm sure you'll sell it.
You'll sell it. First of all, the cast with all the people. I guess I mean you know everybody in Hollywood, so like you've got the cream of the crop, such great people involved, in it,
Right.
which helps sell it. You help
Right.
sell it.
They
help
and there's
sell
so
it.
much boring shit on television today. One more fucking reality show, I'm going to commit suicide. I mean, aren't you sick of these nobody things? These like pus, they're breaking pus pimples on television.
He woke up the other night.
I'm not lying to you.
No, wait. We're married. We're married. So the other night, late at night, at like 11 o'clock at night, I was watching. He was asleep, and he woke up and he saw the show. I was watching Dr. Pimple Popper, and he almost had a heart attack. They're oozing and popping out ooze
They
everywhere.
made a TV show out of pus. I mean, give me a fucking break. So I said to Jimmy, we really need to have quality television, and I think your show is going to be just that. It's going to be theatrical, it's going to be funny, it's going to be heartwarming, and I think it's going to be a hit. And if we can help you to get it out there, we will. We'll shout it out whenever we can.
We got tons of people who listen to us.
We're in shit. We get around. But seriously, we need quality TV again. We've got to teach young people that the Kardashians are not the reason to live.
Right. That's right.
That's right. We love it.
That there are so many actors out there who really want to go back to work but don't have the work to go back to, and that breaks my heart. Because I'm from the days of the legends, Clark Gable, Jean Harlow, Jane Russell, Marilyn Monroe. Those were the people that I knew. I'm 79 years old next week. So, wow. So I came from vintage Hollywood. And today I just feel sorry for great actors like you that are not getting the roles that you should get. You're still a handsome guy and you can fucking act. I mean, that's strange in Hollywood. But, you can act. And I think movie roles should be flying your way. But unfortunately, there's no visibility. That's why I'm happy to say 4.5 million people are watching you right now all over the world.
Wow,
they will be watching him.
They will be. We're syndicated a lot of places. So I want to say this in behalf of you. Look this guy up. You'll be so impressed by his credits and how well he acts. And he looks good, too. So hire him.
There you go. Actually, I mean, you're working all the time, and so I have one question I want to ask, and we're going to brag for you in a minute, so you don't have to brag.
We like you. We like you. We like your work.
I'll brag.
I've watched you over the years.
I'm going to brag for you in a minute,
and your work is good.
But basically, like
you know what I like? Let me just give one compliment. You never let your looks, and they were gorgeous, and they still are, get in the way of your character. Many actors let their looks get in the way of their character, which means they say, I'm gorgeous, I don't have to work it. You worked it.
Yeah.
And that's what I like. Your looks were secondary to your work.
Thank you.
And you're good looking, right? Oh, come on, cut the shit. Every broad in the world would kill for you. Are you kidding? And guys too. So
it's so funny though, because you used to be on the cover of all because you and I are like almost the same age, and so you'd be like on the cover of like Teen Beat, like in all these like magazines with all the little starlets and stuff, and you were like living the high life, and so how do you find things different now, because you were in such huge films in the 80s and 90s, and I mean you've worked with the who's who of Hollywood, which I'm going to brag for you in a minute. Now with Netflix and all the streaming and all the indie films that have taken over everything, like how do you view the changes? And like I'm sure you probably don't like it as much, but like what are your ideas and thoughts about the way the industry has changed from when you were doing Jodie Foster movies, and now doing a bunch of cool indie stuff?
Well, yeah, I mean, the industry has changed so much, and I took a lot of time off. I got heavily involved in the animal rescue world. I went to Taiji, Japan, and traveled all over the world doing that sort of stuff, and then I ran out of money, of course. I made a lot of money, put it, saved it up, and then thought, oh, I've got a lot of money in the bank. I can, go all over the world. I spent, 10 time down in Texas, filming all my animal rescues, which actually culminated and led to a show for National Geographic called Animal Intervention. Alison Eastwood and I produced it and co-hosted it and went around mostly the United States rescuing exotic animals from private ownership. So it did culminate, but I ran out of money. And so I came back to Hollywood to, get back in the business and make money again, get my health insurance back, right? And things have changed. Things have changed so much. Social media is such a huge influence as far as they won't cast you if you don't have over 100,000 Instagram followers, or won't even, audition you for certain things. It's in the breakdowns, it says. So that whole world, and I built my social media up. I mean, Instagram 84,000, which is not bad for an older guy. I've been told by a few people it's not bad. But so it really has. And the other thing is, I'm sure you guys are aware of what's going on right now at the Writers Guild in Hollywood.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's the same thing for the actors. I wish Screen Actors Guild was as tough as the Writers Guild, because if you're not at the top 3 or 4 agencies, you don't get to work. CAA, William Morris ICM package 88% of the television. 88%. Meaning if you're not with them, you're missing out on 88% of the work. And then the rest, everybody else has to fight over the 12%.
Yeah, that's terrible.
You're not the only one saying this. I want to go back about 1,000 years. Bette Davis, the legendary Bette Davis, Queen of Hollywood.
Yes.
When she was in her late 50s, put an ad in our newspaper, the Hollywood whatever.
Hollywood Reporter.
Saying professional actress looking for work. That was Bette Davis. That's what happens. You get to be a certain age, and when you're not hot to trot and you don't get the idiots to come in to see your face, they don't think you could do anything with acting, and that's pathetic. Right. Second thing, you must know Tippi Hedren, my sweetheart, dear friend. I love my Tippi Hedren, don't you?
Yeah, absolutely.
She saves and rescues cats galore. So you two have got to be my heroes, the both of you, because anyone that saves animals from the slaughter or the malabuse, are angels to me. So thank you so much for doing that.
Actually, we have, and actually your documentary did really well, didn't it?
The docu-series? Yeah. We did 6 episodes. We had an average of 900,000 viewers. So it did really well. But both Alison and I, after that experience, we both put a lot of money into it and a lot of time. And we were not making, we lost a lot of money too. So, Alison went back. She wanted to go back to directing feature films, and she's done one. I think she's on her second one right now. And I went back and I tried to create this show, The Trouble with Billy, because I figured the only way for me to do something, to get back in again, was I was forced to do my own thing, spend my own money, get all my friends to do cameos in it, and it's turned out pretty good, I think. We'll see.
Well, that's the way of show business today. You're not the only one doing that. Now, I want you to tell me, get me interested, make me want to see your show. Tell me why I should see your show.
Well, it's a really sort of dark look, comedic look, because it's gone to it's dark Hollywood to the extreme. I mean, just to tell you, there's a great scene that I'm working on editing right now. My character in the beginning finds out his dog is dying of heart failure, and of course, my dog is my only friend. She's a pit bull.
Oh.
And and I'm dead broke. I've been thrown out of my niece's house. I've been living with her, and that's played by Instagram star Lindsay Pelis. She's got 9-10 million followers on Instagram. And so I'm living in the car with my dog, and my dog is dying. So I'm pretty desperate to get the money. I go to the hospital. They say your dog is dying. Alison Eastwood is the cardiologist, the veterinarian cardiologist, and she tells me, your dog, you have maybe 2 to 3 months left without radical intervention. And I'm like, what's radical intervention? She said, my mentor at UC Davis is doing heart transplants on dogs. And I'm like, well, I'll do it, whatever it takes. And it's very expensive. So I've got to go out and figure out a way to raise an enormous amount of money living in my car. And I try all these different jobs. I end up with an old boarding school friend in the movie, and that's Angus McFadden. I don't know if you know him.
Yeah,
Sure, we know.
from Saw.
Absolutely.
Yeah, from Saw and from Braveheart and from a lot of things. He's doing a big Paramount movie right now. So we're old boarding school friends, and I figured he's very wealthy. He's a Lord Delaware, and his family founded the state of Delaware. So I'm figuring he's in Hollywood. He's driving a Ferrari. He must be financing movies. So this is this is it. And by the way, the structure of the script is the structure of The Wizard of Oz. And I'll tell you how that begins. That my niece, her name is Katrina, like the hurricane, Katrina, and she throws me out of the house like the tornado. And it's me, I'm Dorothy, and it's my dog Toto, and we're homeless. We've got to find our way home again. But not only that, I'm not only Dorothy. I'm also the Scarecrow, in that a lot of bad decisions have led me to being homeless. So I need a new brain. And my dog is also the Tin Man because she needs a new heart.
Yeah, that's cute.
So I've got.
Wait, hang on. What do you need right now to get going? You need money?
Well, I'm going to need some finishing funds. Yes. Yep.
Okay. Talk to Jimmy after the show.
Okay.
Jimmy's got a lot of money people connections. Number one, this show is going to be a smash hit.
Everybody's going to love this show.
Because everybody we know in Palm Springs where we live works hard for rescue. We just rescued this little baby on my lap.
2 weeks ago.
2 weeks ago. We have three rescue dogs. And we are all animal lovers. So there's not an animal lover that will not watch your show and love it. I love it already. I will definitely be watching it.
This is Astro Boy. He's a terrier poodle mix. He's 5 pounds and he's 2 years old. He's full grown. Then we have a 35-pound Old English Sheepdog Terrier mix. And then we have a 120-pound Brazilian Mastiff.
Wow.
So we've got like a zoo, and we always rescue dogs.
And the thought that dog would die makes me sad already. But I'm hoping that somehow you're going to get the money to have his heart transplant, and the dog is going to live to be 100. So I know it's going to be. No, seriously, it's. You'll learn one thing about me when you get to know me better. I don't bullshit anybody. No smoke up anybody's ass. I hate people that do that. You know, Hollywood, darling, you're wonderful. Let's do lunch. Your film is fabulous. You're fabulous. When they pull that shit, I smack them and throw them in the gutter. I didn't even want to talk to them. You know, tell it like it is. You don't have, just because you're an actor, you don't have to bullshit. I don't bullshit. Love, love, love the idea of your film or your show, and I can't wait to see it. And so if anybody out there's got a brain in their head, get this show up and running.
And you can follow him. Wait,
you do that shit. I don't. I talk heart, you talk bullshit. Get this guy's film up. It's going to be a great piece of work. Something good. Something for a change that we don't fall asleep on.
And you guys can follow him in social media. Let's get his social media numbers up if we can. He's William McNamara on Twitter. Are you William McNamara on Instagram also?
I think I'm William McNamara 108 on Instagram.
Yeah, that's right. I remember it's something different. Yes. Okay.
Yeah.
So William McNamara 108 on Instagram, William McNamara on Twitter. So he's got this going. First of all, let's do some bragging though too for you. So not only has he got this great Trouble with Billy TV show and movie that he's like putting together that everybody wants to see, but this is just some of the people, because as I was going through your IMDb, I saw tons of other names that aren't on this list, but I was like, there's just too many people. But these are some of the people that Billy has starred opposite of. And when I say starred opposite of, I don't mean like he's in the cast like number 30. He's like in the top 2 or 3 on IMDb in every film he's in.
He didn't walk on and walk off.
Which means that he's like, his IMDb star meter is really high and it stays high. So here you go, you guys. He starred opposite Jodie Foster, Jeff Bridges, Patricia Arquette, Reese Witherspoon, Holly Hunter, Ben Kingsley, Sigourney Weaver, James Earl Jones, Beau Bridges, Donald Sutherland, Tom Berenger, Dennis Hopper, Danny Glover, Roy Scheider, Armand Assante, Gabrielle Byrne, Bette Midler, and Gianni Capaldi, since he's a friend of yours.
Johnny's my
and
friend.
Estelle Warren, Vivica Fox, Dominique Swain, Leslie Ann Warren, who follows me on Twitter. She's really nice.
I love Leslie.
Let's see. Mark Harmon is on there. Harold Ramis, Jonathan Silverman. And then he was in Dream a Little Dream. So anybody who's my age loves Dream a Little Dream. You got Jason Robards, Meredith Salinger, Corey Feldman, Corey Haim, Piper Laurie. I mean, that's a big one. That's 80s kids. That's a big one.
Piper Laurie. I met her years ago. She's a sweetheart.
Yeah, she is.
Piper was such a nice girl. very Midwestern, very mid-America.
Oh, and Sybil Shepherd and Eric Rogers, Brad Dourif.
Eric Roberts.
He did the
actor.
movie called The Calling with Robert Wagner, Jill St. John, Brad Dourif, and Faye Dunaway.
Faye Dunaway, the bitch of the earth.
By the way, Robert Wagner's in The Trouble with Billy. He plays the cardiothoracic surgeon. He does the heart transplant.
Oh, well, don't tell too much. Now you're giving it away. We don't want to know.
Don't tell us what happens, but you can tell us who's in it.
We want to sit there wishing. We don't want to sit there.
All right.
You know what I mean? But anyway, I'm going to ask you number one because we're gay and we adore and love Bette Midler. I was in Bette's company once with my friend Perry Winkler when her little girl was a baby and she was changing her diaper on the sofa. And that's how I met Bette Midler. Bette Midler, as we say in Jewish, is a Hamish abroad. There's no bullshit with Bette Midler. She curses a lot like me. She tells it like it is. She's one tough tomato. What was it like working with her?
Well, she's a fantastic person, and you're right. She's no bullshit. She's a real person. And I remember when I went to the first day for the cast read-through around the table read, it was up, I think we were shooting it, I believe it was in Canada, I'm pretty sure, very cold. I think Toronto, possibly. Very cold. So everybody's wearing their heavy jackets. We're in a church. We're in the basement of a church doing this big cast read-through. And it was a very large cast in Stella. And I got there and went down right away, got sat at the table. There must have been 60, 70 people there, crew and all kinds of people doing stuff. And I looked around and I couldn't find Bette Midler. Now, I had never met her yet, and I'd never seen her in person. So I kept looking. I thought, oh, I guess she's the star. She's not going to come to the table read. And so we're getting ready. Everybody's getting ready. And all of a sudden, off to the side, a little baby starts crying very loudly.
Very loudly.
And screams. It's true.
And somebody wearing like a big, huge overcoat, wrap, big hat around the head, and big scarf because it was cold in the basement. Big scarf, small person, belted out a beautiful song with an amazing voice, singing to the baby. And I thought, my God, who is that with that voice? Because she was all covered up and wrapped around and she was tiny. And it was Bette Midler.
How cool is that?
I was like,
she's quite, yeah. Her daughter was maybe 6 or 7 months old when I met her. And, I was being a gentleman and polite and boring. And then I said, you know what? Screw it. She's like me from Brooklyn. She's a Jew. She's like me. I'm Italian. Let's just do it. So I started in with, oh, fucking kids. I said, they drive you crazy. She said, oh, tell me about it. These fucking kids can make you nuts. So when I said fucking, she kept saying, we just bonded, the filthy, dirty mouths. But it's loving. We don't curse to be dirty. We curse because it's love. Like in New York, we don't say, oh, hi. We say, hey, how the fuck are you? And that's kind of like a New Yorker love. Just like my sweetheart, Lainey Kazan, who's my dear sweet friend who I love. And, of course, Renee Taylor, who I love, and also Fran Drescher.
He's a big Nanny fan.
Well, no, these are people we've interviewed and friends of mine, and I love them because they're all from New York, mostly Brooklyn, and they're all real people. When you're in our business, and you will contest to this, you can lose yourself in the bullshit.
Yes.
And when you lose yourself into bullshit, your ego rises, you think who you are, you refuse a lot of roles that are not paying well or mistakes because your ego destroys your career.
Right.
If you can stay in this business secured to the floor, screwed to the floor, you will go far. That was said to me by, because I knew Betty Davis. It wasn't Betty. It was one of those other old broads. I interviewed, who was it? Maybe Arlene Dahl, one of those people. You got to stay secured to the ground in this business or you get lost in the crowd. Don't you agree with that?
Absolutely.
You seem to be real. You seem to be down to earth. I think I like you. You can be a good friend. What do you think?
Absolutely. I thought you guys were in Florida, but you're in Palm Springs.
No, we're in Palm Springs. We transmit. We're like shit. We're all over.
We moved here though, and we originally started 9 years ago. We lived in Florida, so we started the show in Florida, and so we stayed at the same place. So we're at the same station, W4CY, for like 9 years, and we just wherever we go, we broadcast. We call to them, and they broadcast us.
And I cannot leave I lived in California most of my life because I'm an actor. And I left because I wasn't getting any work. You know, I was getting old, 67, 68, 70, 73. Who the frig wants an old bag? Well, I've got 8 movies to do.
Wow.
8
We
movies.
moved back a year ago.
Because now they need old bags over 75 that could still walk and talk and breathe. So every time they need the grandfather or the crazy old man, I get a casting. So there is work. And when you're my age, you'll be working. And it's wonderful that Hollywood has turned around and SAG now promotes and encourages older people to be in film. Yep. You've never seen so many old people and young people together because it's a clever way of grabbing an audience.
Yes.
The kid movies only get the kids. But if you put Robert De Niro in with a kid, you get both audiences, the old bags and the kids. So Hollywood has finally gotten smart, and I'm glad. Matter of fact, I'm going to work in 2 weeks. I'm shooting a fabulous movie. I'm not allowed. That's another thing I hate, that today we can't talk about a movie. Years ago, we used to do pre-publicity. Now they made me sign a paper. Do not mention nothing about. What the fuck? I mean, I feel like a CIA agent.
Is that different? And now is that different from how it was for you
Oh, yeah,
before?
of course it is.
I'm asking him,
well,
not you.
I was working when he was working.
Yeah, no, it's very different. I noticed that. It's very, I don't know what they're, I mean, there's so many film and television shows out there. I mean, I don't know how they think you're letting the cat out of the bag, because it's like you're lost anyway. It's better to do, like you said, the pre-publicity. Do.
And also, I hate to break it to the writers, but this movie's been done 1,000 times. A great big gorilla kills you, then a snake kills you, then they fly out of the sky as sharks and kill you. It's the same plot. Everybody gets killed in the horror movie. Everybody gets killed in the movie. So what are you worried about? Somebody's going to steal the plot? I mean, that everybody gets killed by some other freaky thing?
Actually, I want to bring 2 points into that. So one thing is, William, because you just had a premiere for Rotten Tail. Is it called Rotten Tail?
Yes, it's called Rotten Tail.
Rotten Tail. You just had a premiere for it. I saw it on your Instagram and not too long ago. And that's a horror movie about a giant rabbit. It's a rabbit?
Well, it's a horror comedy movie, the grindhouse sort of genre, like the 70s and 80s, like a cheesy, really cheesy horror movie. It's meant to be very cheesy. And yeah, it's a giant mutated Easter bunny. Who's no longer, Johnny Cottontail. He's, Johnny Rottentail.
Actually, though, it looks quite
So
fun.
they're worried
like
that
fun.
this script's going to get stolen. I love that, don't you?
Well, that one's out already. So
It's on Amazon. It's Amazon Prime today, if you want to watch
it. You can watch Rotten Tail today, you
Another
guys.
thing I don't like is they shoot a movie in an hour, and you're not allowed to rehearse. So now I'm doing Circus Road, and I am the minister marrying Johnny and Sadie Katz, and I have not rehearsed. I have no idea what's going on. We just know our cues and lines. So I'm standing there very solemn-faced, and I say, ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba, and then Johnny's line to Sadie was, "You fucking whore. I know you're a whore." And I'm not, but he yelled it so loud, I went, "Ooh." And they cut. They said, "Ron, we heard the ooh on your mic." I said, "Yeah, but I didn't know what he was going to do. He startled me. Leave the fucking you oop in. It's so natural." But it wasn't in the script. So I looked and I thought, this script is such shit anyway. What do you mean? It wasn't in the script. Leave the ooh. It was a genuine startle because Johnny was screaming, and the way he did it, you. I mean, so violently. So that's what, they don't know what they're doing today.
No.
So let's go back to you, though, for first 2 things, because we talked about Writers Guild, and I saw in your bio that you actually wrote and sold a script last year for a female-driven film called The Wrong Girl. So are you part of the Writers Guild? Or not yet?
No. And so, it's kind of easy selling scripts if you're not in the Writers Guild. There's a lot of companies out there that want to buy, non-union scripts because they don't pay. I got paid $15,000 to do the script and the rewrite. So it's not even Writers Guild minimum, I don't think.
No,
so,
it's not.
But that's true. That's I'm SAG eligible. I used to be SAG, and then I let it go when I wasn't working. So anytime I want, I just give them $3,000 and I'm back in. But you know what? I get more work being SAG friendly.
Right.
I call it that, SAG friend, low budget SAG.
He gets to do all those $300,000 and under movies.
Well, you know why? Jimmy has informed me, like you just finished talking about this IMBD bullshit number. Jimmy said the more movies you do, the lower your number gets. And I thought, what does that mean? He said,
unless they're terrible.
He said it means you get work. If your number is like 10, you're going to be.
His number's good. His number stays high.
What's your number?
I don't know.
I think it's 5,700.
Is that
good?
good?
It's up to 57. That's not good. It's usually between 2 and 4, so that's not good.
That's good.
Pretty, compared to that, but considering there's 10 million people on IMDb, 5,700 is still.
Well, wait
good.
a minute. At 200, it gets a lot of work, right?
At 200, well, it means your people are.
So what am I?
you out.
5 million?
You're like, I don't know. You're like, actually, I think you just dropped a bunch because we haven't added anything new. Your high is like 60,000 or 55,000. My high is 4,000.
Oh, big shit! Excuse me.
But I homer around the 50,000.
Isn't that the stupidest thing you've ever heard of, Billy?
It's ridiculous.
Come on. What kind of nonsense?
It's ridiculous.
You judge an actor if he's good for the part.
Right.
Like, in other words, if I was casting you, I know to put you as a romantic, good-looking lead, maybe murderer or cheater, or whatever the character is. But I won't go by your number. I'll go by your work. I'll say to Jimmy, I want to see a few of his films. I want to see if this guy can act. I want to see what he looks like. I want to see what kind of shit he projects. That's how you cast.
You haven't changed, though, at all.
No, he looks the same.
You look exactly the same as you did. You have a little bit of gray highlights, but other than that, you look exactly the same.
Handsome. He's still handsome.
He was like a heartthrob when he was young.
We're both very handsome. I got to tell I'm not shy about that. I'll be 79 in 2 weeks. For 79 years old, I'm really fucking good looking. And you're going to be the same way when you're my age. Some people lose their looks very quickly. Don't you agree with that? Some gorgeous actors, when they were young, lose their looks by 40.
Well, he's got all his hair, too.
Yeah, well, that helps. Hair is important. If I didn't have my hair, I would not look as good. Old bald men look like old bald men. Young bald men look hot and sexy.
I'll probably be one of them. So let's
talk bald men
real quick, because I saw this thing, Age of the Living Dead. It's a vampire series. I happen to just so you know, I'm a horror fanatic, so I see every horror movie, whether it's big budget or whether it's like $100,000 piece of shit. I see all of them. I love them all, and I know all the people in them. We've had them all on the show. So first of all, is Age of the Living Dead? Is it any good? It's a vampire series. Is it any good? Is it okay?
I haven't seen it, and it's what I understand is it was for a channel in the UK, and I'm not sure if it was BBC or not. So it aired. Maybe it was Netflix in the UK. It was Netflix in the UK.
So we can't even see it.
I don't think so. No, I don't think so.
Oh, that stinks. I totally wanted to see that.
Yeah.
You have a bunch.
Everything in England comes here eventually.
Yeah,
so
it will come here.
It may recycle itself here. So what do you got going on? Like what are you like? Don't lie to me either, because I don't like that. Tell me the truth. What do you want? Like, what are you looking for?
Well, for me, I'd love to be on a series regular on a great TV show. If it's not my show, The Trouble, something else. I'd like to be on a show. I'd like to be working. And there's 600 shows, 600 TV series being produced in the United States today. 600.
That's a lot.
I should be on one of them, even for a supporting role.
Well, why do you suspect you're not? How do you suspect you're not? Why?
I don't know.
Are you fat? Are you fat?
No, I'm not fat at all.
We can't see the sweatshirt. You look. So you still have a nice body. Your face is still handsome. You're a good actor, and you're available. So what's the problem? You got a shitty agent?
The agent is one of the smaller agents. Yeah.
That stinks. That's not good.
And
I'm serious.
You gotta get someone who pushes.
After the show, we're going to talk to you, and I bet you $10 we're going to have you cast in one of the movies I'm in. I'm serious, because I have a little bit of clout. Because they're afraid of me. They know I'll go on. We have 4.5 million people right now watching, and they're afraid that I might go on and say that the movie sucks. And the director should be shot, and the producers are assholes. So
it's funny that a lot of people this isn't really too. A lot of producers and directors and stuff know that we have a lot of cool celebrities on our show, and they know that they can contact me. And most of the time, I book everybody without using an agent or a manager to come on the show, so they know I have emails to contact people. So all the time, they'll come to me and say, "Hey, I saw you had this person on your show. You think they would work for this?" And I'm like, I have no idea if they'll work for it or not, but I can contact them and ask them if it's okay.
Right.
If I give you their contact
information. He doesn't know anything about you. Jimmy was voted the #1 PR person 2 years in a row. I'm a publicist.
He's the most
incredible publicist And Jimmy does things that you don't know who Jimmy is. But if you know his credits and what he can do, he's a very powerful man, growing every day more powerful in our business. And I know that he's helping so many actors who have been put to pasture. We have so many.
Those are my favorite actors, first of all.
I mean, I work very hard. I mean, Jane Russell was my best friend. You know, Jane Russell, the legend. Jane?
Yep, of course.
I mean, she was like my sister. We hung out. And I used to say to her, Jane, why don't you go to work? There's so many nice parts for you. She said, I can't remember lines anymore. I said, they put the hearing aid in your ear and they talk to you your lines. She was afraid because she thought she wasn't beautiful anymore. 89 years old. She was still beautiful for 89 years old. So a lot of actors out there have to realize, no, you're not 21 anymore. But that's not saying that at 51 you're still not sexy and gorgeous.
When I started the show, I originally started bringing on all my favorite, because I'm a child of the 80s, so I liked all the 80s stars. I think they're all fabulous. I love the fact to see that there's a resurgence and everybody's working a lot more than they were again. But there's some people. Like you're a good example because you weren't just like a working actor in the 80s. You were like a freaking superstar. Like you were like at the top of the fucking heap.
I bet him a lunch.
And I think you need to still be at the top of the heap because you've got everything.
I bet you a lunch because of this show. You're going to get a phone call.
I hope so. Well, you won't get a phone call, but you guys can email me or contact him on Twitter, you guys.
And when I win, you could take me to Denny's because I love the new thing. They have 3 pancakes, 3 bacon, 3 sausage for $5.98. You can't beat the lunch. You can't beat the lunch, baby.
So let's do some hypotheticals. So like you've already worked with everybody in Hollywood. If you could have been a character in any movie that's ever been made, what movie would you have liked to be in? And then think in the background of all of this, who's a male and female star that you haven't worked with yet that you would love to have an opportunity to work with?
Oh, well, if I could be in any movie, it would have to be the movie Harvey, to play Jimmy Stewart's role in Harvey.
Wow, that's strange. I never would have thought that.
Such a good movie, and I would love to play. Would have loved to have played Barney Fife in the TV series, the Andy Griffith Show. Those are my 2 favorites.
I never would have dreamed it. Never.
Those are very cool because you've picked
totally
like
off
classic
guard.
stuff. Yes.
Totally. I would have thought that you wanted to play Tarzan or something like exciting and sexy, or like Raiders of the Lost Ark's nephew. You know, something like that. You look like him a little bit. You're better looking. He looked like shit, and I got old. Harrison Ford.
I think he's gorgeous.
No, he don't look good anymore. I saw Harrison not long ago. He's really aged a lot.
I think
he's still
gorgeous.
attractive, but he could.
Okay, hold on. Who haven't you worked with though?
Cousin.
Who would you like to work with that you haven't had an opportunity to work with yet? We say yet because you got so much stuff that'll be coming your way. You know, this might actually come true. Some of you might hear it and be casting. So who do you want to work with?
I mean, I would love to work with people like Sean Penn, Robert Downey Jr.
Yeah, those are the actors.
Yeah, I mean, I'd love to work Matthew Modine, Kiefer Sutherland.
Gut people. Yeah. I love them.
Yeah.
Too.
It's so funny because like The Lost Boys is like my favorite movie like of the 80s of like all time.
No, but he just mentioned really. I mean, really.
I love Kiefer Sutherland.
Meaty actors. You know, they're not fluff.
Oh, not at all.
And you forgot Eric Roberts, who is a brilliant actor.
He's already worked with Eric.
I know, but Eric how's he to work with? Is he difficult or what? I heard is tough.
No, he's a gentleman. No, Eric is fantastic. He's an amazing person, Eric. He's amazing.
I am yet to meet him and adore him because I love his work. I think Eric Roberts is one of our best actors around.
Yes, I agree.
He's really great.
So what about a female? Give us some females that you want to work with.
And don't say Meryl Streep.
No, not Meryl Streep.
Everybody says Meryl Streep.
Every girl says Meryl Streep.
What the hell?
I don't.
Angelina Jolie.
Yeah, Angelina Jolie, of course. I mean, who doesn't want to work with her? Yeah, of course.
You know, she grew up in my house. She was my daughter Deirdre's best friend. They went to school together. I practically raised Angie in my house on peanut butter sandwiches. It's true. And we lived in Beverly Hills, and she lived around the corner on Roxbury. We lived on Spalding, and my kids went to Beverly Hills, Rodeo, and Beverly Hills High. And Angie, I want to say it again, everybody. The boobs are real. The lips are real. There's nothing fake on that kid. That girl is totally natural. and a brilliant actress.
How about you like Charlize Theron? I like Charlize Theron.
Oh, she's
a lot.
gorgeous. Beautiful.
Yeah, I love her. I think she's amazing. Absolutely love her.
You know her? You've met her?
No, I never met her. I met Angelina Jolie, but not Charlize. I did a screen test very early on for that movie Gia. Do you remember Gia, the HBO movie?
Awesome movie about the model. An amazing movie.
That's where my sweetheart, two of them, I love them. Winona Ryder and Angie.
No, Winona Ryder's not in Gia. You're thinking about the one where they...
the dope addict one.
Yeah, that's not... Gia's the model one where she's the model who gets AIDS.
Oh, yes, Gia the model. Right. What's the one I'm thinking of where they're both with dope
we had
addicts?
the girl from that on. Remember, what's the name of the song? Girl Interrupted.
Girl Interrupted.
Yes.
Had somebody from that on.
That was some heavy duty stuff. Wow.
Yes.
Great act.
I love it. No, you pick all really meaty, cool, like, real actor people. I'm glad you didn't say Meryl Streep because
do you think that an Academy Award really brings your career back up?
It seems like it. It seems like people stop working after they get the Academy Award.
That's what I was just going to say.
It's like a curse.
Yeah, it could be.
It's like you're a one-night wonder.
Right.
You made it, night, goodbye. We don't need you anymore.
It could be because there are a lot of actors who, I don't want to mention people because that's not nice to say, but there's a lot of people who have won Academy Awards that you don't see them making A-list films, anymore.
Like 50% of them. What are you talking about?
Well, look at Patricia Arquette won the Academy Award a few years ago, and she was on a CSI show, and it got canceled right after she won. I mean, that's crazy.
She's a fabulous
Everybody
actress.
in the Arquette family is phenomenal.
I love her and I love her sister. They're both great actresses.
Yeah, I agree.
They really know how to do it. Natural and
Again,
real.
though, those are people who are like almost like underrated though for everything.
But getting back to Wildflower, you were young and you were probably a little green, but your acting was, and I'm not flattering you because I don't care for that. Your acting was really genuine, and your accent, I couldn't put my finger on it. Southern, kind of a little bit of hickey, farmer type, was not how y'all doing? That thick bullshit Southern. It was so subtle that you had to really listen to the words to say, where's this guy from? Is he a farmer? And what's his background? And you did it so well. See, I scrutinize films. Jimmy doesn't. Jimmy watches them and enjoys them. I watch them and rip them apart to see what I could learn from them, what I could understand from them.
Well, I have to say that I have to give a lot of credit to the director on that, Diane Keaton. She was such a great director. She really directed me. Every moment was directed that I did was made by Diane Keaton, period. And, of course, working with Patricia Arquette, Reese Witherspoon, Beau Bridges, how can you not be in the top of your game when you're working with people like that?
It's true. The energy is fantastic.
Yes.
What's Witherspoon like? I heard she's a little bitchy sometimes.
Well, I only knew her when she was a kid, when we did that movie together.
Sweet.
She was the sweetest kid I ever met in my life. I loved her. I loved her.
I love the fact, though, that like she was a young, she started out so young and she's still making films and she's still working and she's become like a superstar.
Yes.
I think that's like a really cool
But there are so many movies I've seen you in over the years, and I really mean this, and I can't remember two more. I mean, there's so many. The title.
Stealing Home was a big one. Actually, for me, I like The Beat a lot because that's from my age.
There was one of the movies that I thought he was really good in, and I can't remember the name of it. I don't even remember the plot.
Well, that can't
Doing
really
Time
help
on
us.
Maple Drive with Jim Carrey.
That's a good one.
No, because Jim Carrey gets me nervous. I would never watch that film.
Jim Carrey gets me nervous.
He does.
Stella was a big movie, though. Stella was a huge movie.
Maybe it was Stella.
It might have been Stella.
It was Stella, right there. What was your character in Stella?
I was the good boyfriend that she ended up marrying. Ben Stiller was the bad boyfriend. It's based on Stella Dallas, the Barbara Stanwyck movie.
Right. I think that was the film.
Yeah, because he's a big Barbara Stanwyck film.
That had to have been the film. You did a good job in that one, my friend.
Yeah.
You do good work no matter when I've seen you. And I've seen you around. I mean, it's not like nobody knows who you are.
So you're doing fun horror films now. Did you watch horror films before? And do you like being in horror? Do you like the genre itself?
Not really. Now, Rotten Tail's not necessarily a horror film. It's over
comedy.
the top horror. So it's comedy. And I play a really crazy, wild character in that. It's one of my best characters I've ever played. It's like Dennis Hopper, out of control Dennis Hopper. So, and I'm not it's funny. I did, I got my fame because I did a Dario Argento horror movie.
Yeah, opera.
Dario Argento is.
Yeah, so freaking huge.
huge, and that it's like has such a cult following that I get so much email and fan mail regarding that one movie I did in Italy that I never thought would even come to America. But people are real followers of Dario Argento. I remember I tested for Reservoir Dogs, and it was terrible. It was not going well. I dropped my script on the floor, but Quentin Tarantino was such a nice guy, and he says, "Oh, it's all right, Billy. Calm down, start over again." He goes, "By the way, I want to let you know," and this is Reservoir Dogs a long time ago, right?
Yeah.
He says, "By the way, I want to let you know I'm a huge fan." I'm like, "Oh, really?" He goes, "Yeah, you're in one of my favorite movies." I thought, "Oh, what's he talking about?" I thought maybe Stealing Home, he would say. He said, "Opera, Dario Argento." I'm like, wow, how did this guy see that movie? It's not even in America. But he's all
Dario Argento is
everything recycles.
But he's such a like legend in the
horror world. You know what I hate about doing all these horror movies? In 1959, I made my first movie. All right? Yep. I'm getting paid in horror movies less money than I made in 1959.
Me too.
It is so sad. I was just offered a part, and she said it's $130 a day. I said, "You mean an hour?" I mean, are you serious? $130 a day?
Yes.
And I have to go to Arizona at my own expense and bring half the costumes, which are my own clothes.
Yes.
And do my own makeup because I'm playing 3 different characters.
Yes.
Get out of your minds.
Yes.
I mean,
that's
why not
what's going on. That's the problem. That's right. I'm making less money today than I made in the late 80s when I started. Much less today. You know what I mean?
30 years ago. It's ridiculous.
Ridiculous.
I mean, it really is totally. Well, you know what it is? The budgets. I think one of the films I'm on now is $1.5 million, and that's considered a lot of money for a horror movie.
Yes. Yes.
There is a couple of. I think I'm in another one that's about $3.5 million budget, but I don't think I'm going to make more than $300 a day.
No, you
right.
Yes, you will. Well, if it's a SAG film, you make $1,000 a day. $1,005, I think, is SAG.
No. On SAG, it's like it depends. Ultra low budget, new media.
Right.
I hate that shit. I hate that. I hate it.
They could give you $125 a day in SAG. So it's not good. It's funny. When I was shooting Rotten Tail, I was shooting it in Arizona, and on the weekends I had off, so I went to Sedona every weekend. Beautiful place, Sedona.
I love Sedona.
Went there, and there was a film festival going on, and I thought, oh, fantastic, a film festival. I'm going to park my car and go into the film festival, and I saw the documentary on Sidney Lumet.
Yes.
And I'm sitting and I'm making no money on Rotten Tail. I'm making like $600-700 a week, working 6-day weeks. Making $600-700 a week on Rotten Tail, right? So I'm watching the documentary. Sidney Lumet's in it. He's being interviewed. And they said, and he was talking about his father, he was in Yiddish theater in Brooklyn. And his father realized that Yiddish theater was coming to an end. So he was pushing hard to get Sidney onto Broadway. Right. So they could continue working as an actor. So his father was pushing, and his father had a plan: get Sidney on Broadway and get him one of these contract deals in Hollywood at the studios, like they did with the kids. And he was very happy. He succeeded. So Sidney got on a couple of shows on Broadway. One of the big studios, Paramount, Warner Brothers, I can't remember which one, signed him up for a contract. And then the interviewer asked Sidney Lumet, this is in the 1930s or late 30s, early 40s. What were they paying you back? What were they paying you back then? And listen, I kid you not. Sidney Lumet said, "Oh, it was terrible back then. In the 30s, listen, terrible back then. $700 a week.
That's
taxes. What I was making in 2000.
No taxes. I am very proud.
No taxes.
Right. I am very proud.
Buy a brand new car for $2,000.
That's right.
yeah.
And you could get a mansion in Beverly Hills like Valentino did for $32,000.
Yes.
Meanwhile, I'm very proud to say that the film I was in, That Kind of Woman, was directed by Sidney. Oh. So I can say that I have, in my career of shit, I have been directed by one of the best in the business.
I love it. So I have one other question because we got another guest coming on in a second. So do you?
No, I want to keep.
We're gonna bring it as soon as you have something else that you have coming out or anything you want to promote. We'll bring you back and promote it because like this is fun and everybody loves it. But do you have like an agent that like books you for signings for like autograph signings? Do you do conventions and stuff? Do you do that or you don't want to do that?
I would do it, but I haven't had anybody approach me. I did a few years ago, but I've never sort of followed up on it.
Jane Russell and I did conventions together. I didn't do signings. Nobody knows who I am. But Jane would make anywhere between $3,000 and $6,000 a night.
Wow.
Sign photographs and
you should
pictures.
shoot me an email because like I
you
might
could
be able
make
to.
a lot of money.
I have a lot of celebrities who are clients, and I refer them out to the different agents to get that because I have a couple clients. They make like $10,000, every other month or something doing it, and you could probably probably do well in that because nobody's seen you there before, and if you haven't really done it, you could probably rake up with that stuff.
That's why I'm doing all these horror movies. I'm doing 8 of them because I want to get famous as a horror movie star, so I could go sign shit at the convention center.
All right,
even if I made $1,500, I'd be happy.
So you guys, this is William McNamara. It goes by Jill and Billy. You can find him at William McNamara on Twitter.
Listen, you live in Hollywood?
Santa Monica.
Okay, Santa Monica. One day when we're in town, we're going to call you. We're going to go have lunch because you're a great guy. We can have a lot of fun.
Actually, too, like, do you like to go to like red carpet like premieres and stuff, or you don't like to do that?
Not really.
Okay.
Yeah, but
I was gonna say, I can
but
get
you know what,
invited.
Billy? It's very good
to be seen.
To get a Getty photograph works today. If they see Getty shot you,
that way you look popular
you
again.
Pump up. I go to those shitty red carpets and I hate them with a passion.
Actually, you could just go walk the red carpet, get the picture, and leave.
Sometimes I do that sometimes.
Because I can get because when we're going to them, they always ask me like, who do you know? And I always invite people who've been on the show. So if you want to go,
you've got to get it out there today because it's all about publicity. It's all about the media. Years ago, we had movie books that you bought to read about your stars. That was it. It was word of mouth. Oh, go see Bette Davis's new film. It's wonderful. Today, they don't do that. So it's about media. You have to, like the Kardashians, who are they? Nothing. They're nobodies. Yet today they're the #1 attraction in the freak show.
Yep.
In the freak show. All right. So we want to thank you for coming on. Literally, anytime you've got anything to promote, let me know. I'm following you on Twitter. I'm following you on Instagram. And it was really a pleasure. Everybody in the chat room.
Also on Facebook, it's facebook.com, The Trouble with Billy. I got 44,000 followers there.
And I definitely want to see this. It's got to get up. It's got to get out.
You guys repeat that. It's facebook.com/The Trouble with Billy. I'll go like it later today.
And everybody go on your Facebook page or his and write, I want to see The Trouble with Billy.
Thank you.
Scream it out. I'm doing that for my dear friend Stan Zimmerman. You know Stan Zimmerman?
I know the name.
Yeah, he wrote for Golden Girls. He's a dear friend of mine, and now he's got a new thing going called the Silver Foxes that he's trying to get up on the air. It's about 3 gay guys that got thrown out of a Palm Springs nursing home because they were gay. So they moved in together, and one is bitchier than the other.
Basically, the gay Golden Girls.
So it's kind of like the gay Golden Girls. So I'm campaigning for that for Stan Zimmerman, telling the networks, get over your stupidity about gay people. We are here, and the world loves us. We're some of the best entertainment. It's gay stories. So the same thing. You must tell everybody on your Facebook page if you like me. If not, I'm not going to let you watch our show anymore. So say, I want to see The Trouble with Billy.
There you go. All right. Well, thank you so much for coming on the show. We really appreciate it. You're fabulous, and good luck with everything, and anything we can do to help you, let us know.
Right.
Thank you. All right. Bye-bye.
It's been a pleasure. Been a pleasure. Nice guy.
All right, everybody in the chat room. I'm glad you enjoyed it.
Very good, Billy.
It was a lot of fun, and I think you have to hang yourself up.
Yeah,
too.
but
there you go.
He did good. Oh, look, I'm schlapping. I got to sit up. I always